Ivan catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while I let Ivan scratch it. This is real hip hop, shit, screw it, we'll attack it. Catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while I let Ivan. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. What you know about classic music?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Retro Wrestling Review Series. We're really making progress with achieving our goal of doing more retros than last year. We're at our third retro at the moment. And I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with the person that's making his return to the channel for I don't even know how long. Michael X, how are you today?
Oh, I'm excellent. I'm glad that we're back in and getting to do this. I'm glad that out of all the pay-per-views, you let me pick this one, because this is a like a bucket list pay-per-view for me to like actually talk about on the show. So,
yeah, I think I've messaged you a few times and asked you to pick retros, and then you picked this one. This is why I usually like doing retros with you, because I like doing retros with other people, but you have outside the box thinking and pick retros that I don't really think a lot of people really pick and all that type of stuff. So I do kind of like that we're doing one that's very outside the box and everything like that. Because you picked Pro Wrestling Summit, and as you figured out pretty quickly, I had no clue what this show was. I never heard of this show.
So, a little bit of background. You messaged me on my birthday while I was sitting there with the girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh boy, here we go with this." And I go, "Just let me do my thing." And she goes, "What do you want to like? If you were to go on the show, what would you want to talk about?" And I'm like, "Well, I want to talk about the Wrestling Summit." She goes, "Why?" I go, "Because how often are you going to get 3 companies in one pay-per-view?" Now, let's put it in perspective, right? We're in like a modern age where, like, you know, Forbidden Door exists, with like AEW working with like New Japan and stuff like that. There's tons of like cross promotion going on with, like, back in the day with like WCW, but the Fed never really did anything like this, and never did anything like it after this again. It's really strange. It's like the weirdest pay-per-view ever.
Yeah.
But it also isn't a pay-per-view, which is the weird part.
But you also picked this at a good time too, because WWE nowadays is partnering with all these companies, because they've sent a few of the talent to Pro Wrestling Noah. They obviously right now, as you know, WWE and TNA are in a partnership where each talent will cross over and do stuff that way. So in a weird way, this is unlike anything else, but we're kind of doing this at a good time, because WWE now that the old man's out of the picture, is willing to like actually partner with people and do stuff and everything like that. I mean, they have the ID program now too, where they sign talent and they can still, like, they're not signed under contracts per se, but they're doing, they're signed under an ID program and they still work their indie dates and everything like that. And
again, having guys like Joe Hendry show up. I mean, I would say like somebody like Styles coming in like way back, like a while ago, was like the opening of the door a little bit. And now they're just kicking it right open because Hunter's just in full control, which is, again, what's best for this business right now. Because when wrestlers have to work together, they usually put on the best work that they can. Except for this show.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I watched the show, and then obviously I used to like to do my research, like what was the history going into behind the show, and I really didn't know a lot of it. And then I watched Cultaholics, because they do a lot of the story of whatever, like the story of, ECW or WWE ECW or whatever. So this was one of the videos that they came up with, and you're going to get into it, but this show kind of happened because there was competition kind of opening up for New Japan. Well, not New Japan, it was All Japan at the time and things like that.
So All Japan at this moment in time, which is like the most interesting part, is the background to it, but I'll go into that in just a second. So let's go in. It's April 13th, 1990, right? Hogan has lost the World Heavyweight title to the fucking worst. He's lost it to the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
In my opinion, Hogan, not a great wrestler, especially when it just comes to like what he, again, does a lot for the business, but God, I can't stand the guy. Then there's Ultimate Warrior. Man, I can't fucking stand the Ultimate Warrior. I really don't like the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, because I remember we've had talks about where you tried to have me name in a good Warrior match, and I think it's only like ones where he's not even the best wrestler in the
Macho
match.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the correct answer is whoever he's going up against is usually the better match, and it's him versus Macho is like his best match, only because of the fact Macho's putting on like fucking 90% of the effort. So, April 13th, 1990, WrestleMania just happened. WCW is doing their big Starrcade stuff now, like they're really starting to like make their way to it. The Monday Night Wars are going to be starting in like fucking 5 years. But we're also at a really low point for professional wrestling. Now, I will say there is a show that I do want to cover on this channel in the future if you're interested, which is Wrestle War 1990.
Yeah, I would love to do that one. I think
Because the main event is Lex Luger taking on Ric Flair.
yeah, and I know
And Luger's a great wrestler. The people that go, Luger's a bad wrestler, you don't watch Lex Luger matches because he's great. He's great. Shut up. So yeah, like WCW is starting to make its way. WWF is doing like numbers, but they're like the drop that's going to happen over the course of the next 4 years is really going to like put Vince in like a financial stranglehold. And New Japan is like at its worst. Like they are just losing money hand over fist. It's bad. It's really bad. And Baba's starting up, like honestly, fully starting up All Japan now because he's starting to build his own guys. Two of them that we're going to be able to talk about on the show.
Yeah, I do hear too that New Japan was pretty bad, but I was reading online and reading articles and stuff that the Japan economy wasn't the greatest at this time anyway, so it wasn't just New Japan.
No. Now let it be known, this show made money. I was able to kind of do a little bit of some like runaround to kind of like figure out like what the final price tag was, but this feels more like a morality show than it does anything else. So, about 53,742 people are in attendance. I have to ask you, on how many tickets do you think they actually sold?
Yeah, because they never bet. Because as we'll talk about in a few minutes, when I was watching the English version, specifically the Warrior versus DiBiase match, Jesse the Body Ventura and Vince were talking about how great of a sellout this show was and everything like that. And you could just definitely tell, more so Vince is probably bullshit.
I hate to tell you, 10,742 of those tickets were given out for free.
Damn.
So it's bad. It's bad. So that means that the average ticket price for the event was about between like 5 to 10,000 yen, which means on USD it's about $35 to about $70.
Okay.
Tickets, which again makes sense from like middle of the run. They're probably doing about 35 per person, probably even less. The total like amount that they were making for the event is like 387 million like yen, which would be about 2.6 million USD. So the gross that they really did make is about like between like 350 to 100 million dollars USD. So the total cost to what they were spending was bad because the show only made like 2.34 million and the cost was like $1 million anyway. just to get wrestlers around the world, just to get people to go from point A to point B. This is rough. And again, it's the first time ever that we have these three companies all together like doing numbers. But like, god damn, dude, did they not make enough money for this? Like to make it like viable? Because I'm not even putting into like the calculation of what they were spending on the venue, what they were spending on anything else. I'm just going over like this is a rough estimation of what they could have made.
Yeah.
And it's really, really fucking bad.
They essentially just put all the resources into it and didn't really make anything back from it. They just made the same as they put in, pretty much. Yeah, this kind of sucks too. I can kind of see why this didn't happen again, because obviously I think all three promoters probably looked at this and be like, yeah, this really didn't do much for us, so I don't think there's really a need.
Oh, it definitely didn't do anything for fucking New Japan. This is the most like not... So... Let's go over a little piece here that I think is really interesting. at this moment in time, Inoki running New Japan and Giant Baba running All Japan Pro Wrestling fucking hate each other.
Yep.
Absolutely despise each other in every facet and way of the word. And then you have Vince McMahon having to be the mediator between these between these two, which is just interesting. Like, he has to be the calm, cool, like, headed middleman to try to make some money. And to me, that's crazy.
The fact that Vince has to be the middleman, yeah. And there was even some things that Vince, wanted, because obviously a big thing was, I believe it was Giant Baba and Vince got into like a war of where they were going to put the win. They were going to originally put it in second base. I think that's where Giant Baba wanted, and then Vince wanted it in like home plate. And obviously Vince ended up winning out in that in the end and all that type of stuff. Like,
well, Baba was probably a little bit more correct because of the positioning. Because if you, again, we'll go over it, but like this whole show is just wild. So let's start with what is supposed to be the opening match on the card, which is the Canadian Express, Can-Am, with Joe Malenko taking on Samson Fuyuki, Tatsumi Kitahara, and then we have my boy, Toshiaki Kawada. Hate to say this, folks, this match doesn't exist.
yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere.
There's nothing. So I have the time and I have the finish, which is like 11:56 for the match, but like that's about it. This whole show is really short. It's about 2 hours. This is a 2-hour pay-per-view, which is really wild to like go back and look at.
I think I should talk to you about that too, because I didn't anticipate this was going to be 2 hours. Because obviously, my exposure of New Japan, I know they like to do long shows. So when you sent me the link, I was like, "Oh, this is only 2 hours." I thought this was going to be like 6 hours and all that type of stuff.
Well,
I know.
I'm glad that like what we were able to find, like it cuts out all the fluff. You know what I mean? It gets rid of like all the extra stuff that like just doesn't matter like whatsoever.
Yeah,
which is nice. But like, damn, dude, I did not expect it to be this short.
Me either.
So, let's go over what is supposed to be the first match on the card, which is Jushin Thunder Liger, who is incredible.
Yeah.
Versus Akira Nogami, right? So this match goes about like 8 minutes and 7 seconds, and honestly, it's such an opener match. It's really upsetting.
Yeah. I enjoyed this for what it was. I actually was able to find this. It's someone, I guess, took handheld footage of it, and you can see the match that way. But I do like this match. It's actually a pretty good opener. Juice and Thunder Liger was obviously fairly new to the business at this time. He was. It's just crazy to think that he was only like year or two into the business and everything like that. And yeah, both guys I thought looked good here. Jushin Thunder Liger went in was fine. I think he won with a roll-up. And these two really went back and forth. There was a really good bridge German suplex that I like. There was some really good dives in this match. And this is kind of good because obviously, I mean, the Japan audience sees this, but, if you watch this as an outsider, it's really impressive because obviously wrestlers really didn't, perform this way in America and all that type of stuff. It was a completely new thing to everyone. I think that's the biggest thing I want to make sure we talk about, too, before the fact that they kind of did work together, because obviously this is still WWF, where it's more about the characters than the moves and all that type of stuff. And as you're going to see, like, the main event, I wouldn't expect that match was going to go as well because of how stiff one of the wrestlers is in the match versus the other. New Japan has that stiff style, and WWF at the time, really was more showmanship and everything like that. So I was kind of wondering, like, how is this going to work? Because obviously Vince McMahon Jr. has a different way that he views wrestling. He doesn't really like the hard style. He likes the characters and everything like that. But in that aspect,
flashy showmanship stuff. That's his bread and butter.
But in that aspect, weirdly enough, they were able to make the show kind of come together that way because some of the matches end up working out for the most part.
Oh yeah. All in all, I'd say like the opener for this is probably like a 3, maybe a 3.5 stars. I think it's fine. I think if with anything you're gonna get, it's slow. But as I wrote here, it's like this match is like it was all about Jushin Thunder Liger, and like rightfully so. His high flying offense like left the crowd in awe. While like Nogami could hold his own, it was clear that this match was like meant to elevate Liger even more, especially as like a premier like junior heavyweight, and as a like a crowd favorite, like as a huge factor of it. The pace was fast. The action was like I would say is kind of impressive. It was very competitive, but like it's just Liger looking great, and the fans like absolutely loved what was going on.
Yeah, and I agree. I would give this 3 stars also. If I could have watched it not on fan footage and stuff, I probably would have liked it a little bit more. I think I went generous and gave it 3.25. But
what we can get from, because one of the 2 companies has that footage locked away somewhere. I don't know where though.
Yeah,
we'll find it someday. Next is Jimmy Snuka and Tito Santana. Dude. So Jimmy Snuka and Tito Santana, whoopsie, are tag teaming against Kenta Kobashi and Masanobu Fuji.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, this match is really disappointing.
Yeah.
Because like Snuka and Santana, like besides like how we ever feel about like Snuka, like they're legends in their own right for like all the stuff that they've done. But like Kenta Kobashi, man, like I don't know what the hell was going on, but somebody just wasn't reading the same book.
Especially too,
I
because
don't know what the hell happened.
yeah, this match was a little bit all over the place. You could tell this is kind of Jimmy Snuka, like towards the end of his career, because he could kind of tell he's not really keeping up with everybody in this match. Also,
are you saying that Jimmy's old? No, you're absolutely right. No, Jimmy's goddamn old and really should have retired like pre this event. It's so crazy that he wrestled at all for this event. It's wild.
Yeah,
Tito's just doing Tito stuff. Thing I noticed with Jack while we were watching this. Wow, does his red wrist tape like not fit the rest of his attire?
No, it didn't
like,
at all.
I know he was wearing like white gear with like the little red like highlights, which is cute, but like, dude, red wrist tape just does not work.
Oh, something else I noticed. Something else I noticed that was kind of funny is Kobashi and Fuji came out to the Highway to the Danger Zone song, at least on the link that I was watching anyways. So that was a thing that happened. I didn't expect it, but that was the thing that happened. So,
yep.
But yeah, this match is a little disappointing. It's all right. Kenta Kobashi's in his rookie years. I was expecting a little bit more. And I feel like, too, the referee just kind of loses control a lot this match. He's getting distracted with all the wrestlers keep coming into the ring, so the match is a bunch of chaos, but not much is really happening in that chaos either, type of thing. So,
like, this match is, like, under 9 minutes.
Yeah.
And it feels like in 9 minutes, nothing happens.
Yep.
Like, it's like, all it is, here it is. Punch, kick, scoop, slam. This is the entire card, sadly, is punch, kick, scoop, slam for most of this event. It's really, really, like, disheartening. But, man, dude. Like, man, did I not care about this match. I gave it, like, a 2. Only because of the fact I'm like, Kenta Kobashi's in it. Fuji is like trying stuff, but he's just too goddamn old. Santana and like Kobashi kind of have an idea of what's going on, but like clearly Snuka could not give 2 shits about what's happening.
Yeah,
he's just kind of there for the paycheck, which is very upsetting.
Also, another thing to point out is Shane McMahon is actually he's the referee in this match.
He is the referee, and it's really weird to see Shane McMahon as a ref as young as he is. I think he goes by a different name.
Yeah.
For this.
I
think I got it right. Like I got it right. Yeah, I got it right here. Shane McMahon goes by the name of Shane Stevens.
Yep. You got to think I'm an idiot, but I didn't until I was doing research for the show. I didn't even realize that because I haven't seen Shane McMahon ever when he was young.
Cool. It's cool. It's one of those you've never seen the guy at like a younger age, so it's like one of those. Wait, that's him? How?
Yeah. I really, and I really wasn't. If I probably went back to watch it now, maybe I would see it, but I really wasn't paying attention to the ref either. So like when I heard that Shane was ref, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Shane Stevens, Shane McMahon, and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, this match is a little disappointing. And I would definitely agree. It's definitely like 2 stars. It's a basic match, and not really much gets accomplished. Like you said, not much happens in 9 minutes. So,
well, I mean, I would say that, but there have been tag team matches that can go 9 minutes and do a lot within 9 minutes. The difference is that here it's just both teams, just nobody's gelling, and it's really strange that nobody's gelling well with each other here. That's like a big theme of this entire show, is just nobody's getting what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
it's really friggin' weird.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say this. I fucking love Brett, and I love Mitsuharu Misawa, but damn, dude.
Yeah, this match.
Oh man, this might be the worst match that you could ever have with these two, and I'm so disappointed. Like, this thing was a huge letdown.
Yeah, this was pretty much. This was. Yeah, they had a match here, and again, the link I was watching. Like you said, like we talked about off camera and stuff, you can't find like a full clip of this show. The what I was watching was obviously people edited clips together. So the version I saw was on Brett's DVD, and it showed like Brett's take on Tiger Mask 2, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is 2010 Brett, what the hell is going on here, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was also really interesting. I mean, they talk about it on different like occasions that like there's no like proper footage of like this whole event, so like having like Brett come in, I thought it was a nice little insight, because like, yeah, I got to work with the original Tiger Mask, but like the second Tiger Mask not as great. I'm like, the second Tiger Mask was Mitsuharu Misawa, Japan's like greatest fucking wrestler. What are you talking about, Brett?
You could see this is where Brett's a little, because he was mentioned, he like talked about how he had a good match with him, but he's mentioned like he obviously couldn't do justice to like the original Tiger Mask, but really nobody could. Like he was kind of burying the guy a little bit stuff, but
a little bit, even though like Misawa is like a Triple Crown champion and is Mr. fucking All Japan Pro Wrestling, but okay, whatever, right? It's an event from like 1990. How it affects now is not huge. But all in all, this goes 20 fucking minutes and nothing happens.
Yeah.
The most interesting spot of the entire match is when Brett is about to do the Manhattan drop, the front facing atomic drop, and clearly Misawa doesn't get what he's about to do, and he decides to fall back, and he takes the nastiest tailbone knee I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I'm like, why didn't you go straight into the sharpshooter, bro? Why didn't you bring that move out more? That's incredible.
But yeah, this
it's wrist locks. It's nothing. It's just a bunch of wrist locks. It's just a bunch of fucking headlocks. That's all this match is.
You could see there's
to go from like Brett and like Owen Hart is like, it's so weird. Sorry to cut you off, but continue.
You could also see too, like Brett's just really disinterested throughout much of this match, like especially when he's put on like a lot of the matches. Just Brett doing headlocks and everything like that. He's really like at one point, Tiger Mask 2 does a crossbody and Brett, reverses it, and instead of doing something else, he just does like a headlock takeover like into him and everything like that. You could just kind of see Brett's not into this match. The match picks up a little bit, but you would expect a lot more from these two. It is interesting, too, because this is, Brett, not long before he's about to break into a singles career, because he's still kind of teaming with Jim the Anvil Neidhart and the Hart Foundation. And then he's having a singles match here. And then, obviously, his singles match is a little boring and everything like that. And, yeah, like you said, there's no finish to the match. Tiger Mask 2 does a crossbody, and the time limit's already expired and everything like that. And the thing that was also weird about this match is because this was on Brett's DVD, the footage I saw, there's no commentary, so it kind of made the match even more boring. There was no commentary, the version I was watching it and stuff anyways, so
it's really, really upsetting. But again, as I've told you on our like little private like conversation that we had, right, I'm gonna expose you to the world of Japanese wrestling, especially women's Japanese wrestling. You're gonna learn how fucking cool it is.
Yeah, I want to see. I think we tried to do this before, but then obviously things happen. So I'd love to. I'd love to actually like see it and everything like that type of thing
Oh
too.
yeah, I got a list. Don't worry, I got a list built. So yeah, Brett versus Tiger Mask, not great. 20 minutes. I'd say like a 1.5 star. I think this is kind of like disappointing. The only reason why I give it like a little bit higher is because clearly these guys want to do work together in the ring, but they're just not gelling. Like they
Yeah.
haven't had enough time to like work with each other and figure out stuff. And it's again a young Misawa trying to figure things out. So it's not too bad. But again, as a match, it's just nothing fucking happens. And there's no spot that's really like making me think about it more than like, oh look, he fucked up the atomic drop and
Yeah.
slammed his spine. Yeah, 1.5. Your opinion, Owen? What would you rate this?
Yeah, this is a little bit boring. It lasts a little bit too long, and you know, I didn't really feel like that they could really get a good flow going. It didn't really seem like they had a lot of time to work with each other. And again, I think not having the commentary made the match a little bit more of a drag, because obviously the match is already a drag, but then you don't really have. I mean, it would have been Japanese commentary, but you know, so I would have understood what they were saying anyways. But it would have been something at least, I guess. So. And I think like not having a finish also kind of ruined the match, because you know. You go through 20 minutes and then there's no winner. I know time limit draws can be done well, but it feels like, you know, these two aren't going to wrestle each other anymore, like after this much, so I don't know why you wouldn't just have a winner. Like, if Brett's about to go singles, why not just give Brett the win? I know,
Which is weird. Brett's about to do his singles run.
Yeah, and he doesn't get a
It's
win
so
here.
Strange.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
So,
But I mean, you gotta also look from the perspective as like, these are gonna be two guys that are gonna be the top faces of it. Like, no joke, right after this, he drops the mask. Like,
oh,
I think like a month or 2 months later, Misawa drops the mask and starts his singles career.
damn.
Like, fully. And he's incredible. He goes 50-minute matches that are just incredible barn burners. But again, it's one of those. It's the same thing of like looking at any wrestler that starts their career off. They're not going to have the best matches in the world. He's taking on a gimmick that isn't his own. He's clearly not feeling. He's been doing it for like 6 years, and you can tell that he really wants to be out of the goddamn costume by this point.
Yeah, it's surprised how long the folklore of Tiger Mask goes back in New Japan, because obviously
Yeah.
Tiger Mask has been...
1981.
Yeah, because I think Tiger Mask... I was watching New Japan pretty regularly, like back in 2022, 2021, and I think they were on like Tiger Mask like 6 by that point. So it's interesting. And I think he's still around. I mean, it's not the same guy, obviously, but they still use that gimmick pretty sparingly and everything like that, which is weird. Suicide kind of adopted that gimmick because many people have played Suicide in TNA and everything like that. So.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Oh god. I'm looking at the next one on the list, and oh god. Oh my god.
Yeah, this was interesting.
This is a lackluster match, which has a lot left to be desired. The only spot that I noted was the Great Kabuki spits the poison mist, and Greg Valentine does default taunt 1.
Yep. This was interesting because the Greg Valentine and
Sure. We can call it that.
Greg Valentine and the Great Kabuki, you know, I had heard stuff about the Great Kabuki throughout the years when I had seen it come out. I've never seen him wrestle or anything like that, but I instantly knew who he was because I've seen pictures of him online. I've heard like how intimidating he is, and he just looks cool and everything like that. And then obviously Greg Valentine, I know he was he had more years behind him than in front of him at this point, but he was still a relatively good wrestler at the time. This is in his phase when he was doing the Rhythm and Blues tag team with Honky Tonk Man, because I'm not going to lie, I thought at first this was Honky Tonk Man, but then I'm like, wait, no, this isn't Honky Tonk Man, because I forgot that he went through a phase where he dyed his hair black at one point.
Where he was tagging with Honky Tonk Man. Because we have nothing for Greg, so here, you're tag team with Honky Tonk now. This match sucks.
Yeah, it's not good.
Like, they pick the two guys that are so out of shape that they haven't played with blocks since they were kids. That's
Yeah.
how out of shape they are. They find Greg the Hammer Valentine, who I swear to God can only have a good match in his dreams, and turns out this one was the nightmare. It's so terrible. Like, this is a 0.5, hell, a fucking 0 star in my opinion. I couldn't even give it 1 if I wanted to.
Yeah.
This is bad. This is really pitiful for these two. Kabuki like comes out, he has his big entrance. He's got the nunchucks. Doesn't do anything with them.
Nothing.
Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Hammer comes out. He does default dance 1, which is like whatever. They hit chop, punch, slam. All it is scoop, slams, chops, and punches. That's all this whole goddamn match is. It's so terrible.
Yeah, and like
And how does he win? Roll-up pin. Kabuki wins with a goddamn roll-up pin. Come on, dude.
not even just that, but this Greg Valentine was pretty much like taking him to school before that point. Like I don't think Kabuki really did anything other than chops. Like he really wasn't doing anything all that impeccable.
No.
If you would,
Because he's too old.
yeah, if you would try to tell me that the great Kabuki, if I didn't know who he was like before this, I probably would have thought that he was like the worst wrestler on the planet because like he did not look good in this match.
I think it's really funny that one of the things Jack mentioned was like, look at his tiny little mustache. And I brought up, look at his Ultimate Warrior face paint.
Yep.
He's got Ultimate Warrior face paint on.
Which is weird because he's going to be on the show later on too. So
Yeah, he is. Maybe he's a Warrior fan. He's like, I love the Ultimate Warrior. He's my favorite. Yeah, I bet he is. Yeah, this match is awful. This is like really bad, especially for the show. Like this is piss poor.
I feel like it did
every stretch of the imagination.
It did, I feel like too if they had this match in their prime, but this probably would have been a hell of a match between these two, and then it just wasn't that.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in the man, the myth, the legend himself, Greg the Hammer, the gas tank himself.
Wow, not a Greg the Hammer Valentine fan. I don't like because we never talked about him before. So that's
Name me one good match.
well, I haven't seen it, but I hear that dog collar match he had with Piper is like really good.
Yeah, and let's think about that. His best match is against Rowdy Piper in a dog collar match. A match where you don't get to physically do a lot.
That's fail.
Which is where Greg is good, where he doesn't have to do anything. It's crazy.
Oh, WrestleMania 1 against the Junkyard Dog. That was pretty good.
But is that because Greg is good or because Junkyard Dog is good?
Probably good. I don't think Greg really did anything. I think it was just Junkyard Dog doing his. Plus,
Exactly.
it also has that bullshit finish at the end where like the count out and then Junkyard Dog celebrated. A lot of people throw shade at Lex Luger that he celebrated without winning the belt. They misrepresent and forget about Junkyard Dog was doing that shit at WrestleMania 1, celebrating the fact that he won a match where he didn't win the title.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, he got to be on a major pay-per-view, and he was a different skin color than the rest of the roster during the era. So it was basically a title win for the time.
Yeah, it was.
Junkyard Dog is incredible, by the way. What a great worker, but like Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ,
I like him a lot.
Was he in the wrong era? Like he
Unfortunately.
should have been an Attitude Era guy. He would have been great in the Attitude Era. They would have given him an awesome gimmick for it. But what are you gonna do? To get to the next one, this is my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
This might be the best match on the card. It's very crazy to think about, but Jake the Snake Roberts goes 1-on-1 against the Big Ball Man, the Big Ball Man, the Big Boss of Boss Men.
When I first saw them come out, I was like,
killing it.
Yeah, but when I first saw this, I'm like, wait a minute. Because obviously it was Big Boss Man versus Jake the Snake. I'm like, didn't Mike tell me this was New Japan? This was I thought it was going to be like all 8 New Japan or like versus WWF guys. But then I saw 2 WWF guys having a match. I'm like, whoa, okay. And like it's 2.
Yeah, right.
It was 2 WWF guys that I don't even think really ever cross paths all that much, like in the Fed, which is insane. So.
And it's really upsetting because they have such good chemistry.
Yeah.
Because like okay. At the beginning of this, the beginning bout of this match, again, punchy kicky like fest that's kind of going on. But the ring psychology that's kind of happening with Boss Man kind of like getting a lot of the offense on Jake because Jake's a little bit older. is really interesting.
Mm.
Like, Bossman's bouncing around. He's doing a lot of work. And I'm like, where the hell was this guy during the WWF?
Yeah, we never saw this guy that much. Yeah, it's insane.
No, it's really crazy how much good work he can do when he is given the opportunity. And my God, is this just very good?
Yeah.
Bossman's killing it. Jake is selling like he's gonna have a heart attack. It's so goddamn good.
Yeah, I really
Every
like this a
second of
lot.
match, I was like oodles and caboodles, like super like interested in everything that was happening. And I'm like, why weren't these two ever having a match in the Fed for pay-per-view?
Right.
Come on.
Unfortunately, the New Japan crowd didn't really like this. Well, not but the Japan crowd really didn't like this, and I can understand that because obviously,
It's okay.
yeah, because that's not what they like. They obviously don't like the larger than life characters and everything like that. So this isn't really for them, but that's fine, But I enjoyed this for what it was. I thought it was, one of the better matches on the card, and the psychology of this was really good. And it's insane they never really they didn't take an opportunity and have them cross paths like at all, like in the Fed at least at once.
Weird. It's so weird. It's like they could have.
Yeah.
It would have been great as well. They would have had a really good time, especially like with the. Oh God, it's just a great match. I'm thinking about it over the course of this like conversation. I'm like, it's so goddamn good. If you can go if anyone who's listening or watching this video, listening to this or watching it or doing whatever you're doing, try to look this match out. It's not the best work from the two, but it's nice to see these two put on some really good work after just all the shit that we have gone through. Yeah, I for like 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh, and the fucking finish is great. Oh my God, Jake getting the DDT right after reversing the scoop slam's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
I always forget how good Jake can do, when he actually wants to, hey, yeah, we're gonna try something new tonight. What do you mean? It's all about just me attempting to apply the DDT. There's not a lot to it. There doesn't need to be a lot to it. It's basic, but it's the build up. You're wanting that DDT to come. And when it does, you're like, holy shit, is it great.
It's like Randy Orton now with Randy Orton with the RKO. You want him to hit that RKO at some point, and he teases it and teases it and teases it type of thing. So, yeah, I thought...
All in all, 4 stars.
Yeah, I agree. I thought this was great. I really like the psychology in this match. The sell in this match was really good. And, yeah, it's just interesting they never locked up. And this is right before, too... Jake the Snake Roberts is about to go on that amazing heel run, with that feud with
the Trust Me angle.
Yeah, and then Big Boss Man. He's still on a run. I think this is towards the end of his first run in the WWF because he would go to WCW and be the Angel or whatever it was, and then
the Guardian Angel. I think that's what the gimmick was.
Yeah,
it's bad. I don't know what happened the minute he went to WCW. It was over for his career for a while till Vince picked him back up and said, yeah, we're gonna put you in the body armor back with the baton. We're gonna do the whole thing, but you're Riot Cop Boss Man now, not normal Boss Man anymore. Which is probably the best decision for 1990.
I think because of our conversations too, I still laugh when I see Boss Man because you always point out that he really was. They always said he was a prison guard when he really wasn't a prison guard or something. He was something else.
It's just really interesting that Boss Man's I'm gonna take you to jail. I'm a prison guard. You're dressed as a cop. Well, I'm the Big Ball Man. It's oh, here comes the Big Ball Man.
I still love the fact that him and Nails had a feud over the fact that Boss Man was abusing him in prison, and somehow Nails was a heel.
It's 1990. Can you tell that we're putting work in? Yeah, all in all, good match.
I liked
the next
it.
one on the card we didn't get to watch, sadly. From what I heard, it was a relatively decent match from what I was able to find. Some people would even call it a 3-star bout, which is interesting for a tag team match. It's Masa Saito and Shinya Hashimoto as the IWGP Tag Team Champions, taking on 2 of the 3 Musketeers of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Masahiro Chono and Riki Choshu. I wish we got this one.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish we got this one.
when I heard this match, yeah, I heard it was pretty good. And again, I don't know a lot of the wrestlers in this match, but I would have liked to have seen this match because I think you guys have always.
Do you want some quick history?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, cool. Well, we'll call it Mike's 3 minutes. How's that?
Do I have to time you 3
Masahiro
minutes?
Chono- Yeah, if you you don't have to, but I'll make it quick.
Okay.
So Masahiro Chono is the big heel of New Japan Pro Wrestling, from like the early '90s, probably like from like the early '90s all the way to like the 2010s ish. Actually, probably even before the 2010s, probably like the 2005 ish. Chono is New Japan's like greatest heel. Not many times with the title, but he didn't need it. That's how good he is. He has a huge feud with him and Muta. Like a huge goddamn feud with him and the Great Muta that lasts a long time. He's the head of what is it? The New World Order in Japan.
Oh
which
yeah,
is goddamn gigantic.
yeah.
It was huge. And they didn't do what the U.S. did with the New World Order, where like, oh, every faction member that could ever exist is a member of the New World Order. It's no. It's like 5 or 6 guys, and that's it.
Yeah, that's how it should have been.
How it should have been, because there was way too many guys in the New World Order. It was like it swallowed the entire company, and everyone's like, "This is." No, Chono's just one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He has his last match against
Okada.
Which is funny because it's 3. It technically yes, but if we want to go over what his actual last match is, his last match is against Masahiro Chono.
Oh, okay.
At Chono's retirement event, where there's 3 retirements in one night, in my opinion. There's obviously Muta retiring. There's also Tiger. I don't remember his last name, but I know he was there for the match with Muta and Chono for like a huge chunk of their career, and also Chono himself. And it's a it's a whatever thing, but Muta lets Chono go over.
Yeah, that's insane. Usually,
it's incredible.
Yeah, I would
so
like.
good.
I want to say because you guys always say how good Chono is. I really want to see because maybe I'm just not meant to see him wrestle because obviously I didn't get to see this match. So
I'll say this: if you like the move, the Yakuza kick, he invented it.
okay.
He invented probably one of the most unique ways to do a big boot ever.
Yeah, definitely.
It's incredibly cool. In WWF No Mercy, it was a KO move. It's like one of the only like big boots in the game that can knock somebody out.
Oh, that's insane.
It's awesome. Yeah, but all in all, from what I've heard, it's like it goes like 13 minutes, a very steady back and forth. This match is just kind of like whatever, though. I wish that we got to watch it.
Yeah, I heard that like
But then,
the TV.
man, that next match it was not too bad after that though.
I didn't get to see the whole thing of this one, but I have to take your word for it.
Yeah. So yeah, our next thing on this is kind of weird. It's kind of really weird.
Yeah.
Actually. We got Jimbo Suyuta and King Haku, which the minute I heard, I went, it's Haku, why is he here? And then somebody on commentary, oh, King Haku, I went, get the fuck out of here. He's been recently knighted as the King of the Ring.
Yes.
Oh, no.
He was.
Oh, no. Not King Haku. Damn, we're really in the bottom of the barrel, huh?
Yeah.
We couldn't figure anyone else out to be King of the Ring.
Which is kind of weird because another kin shows up later on. So.
Yeah, very weird. And then they're taking on Mr. Perfect and Rick Martel, and Mr. Perfect is exactly as his namesake. He is perfect. Every move that he does in this, from what we were able to get, is very good.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the whole thing.
Yeah, same here.
But from what I saw, this looked very good. This looked very crisp. Obviously, Ken Haku looked very intimidated in this match. I would not want to mess with him. Rick Martel looked cool, you know. I didn't really know who he was at first because obviously, I came into this mid match. I think what he did his taunt was when I finally figured out that it was even Rick Martel, which is pretty funny. And I thought everyone really did good work in this match. And I forget who wins this match though. I don't remember who wins this match.
The winner of this match, from my notes, is 1 second. I gotta pull up the thing.
I'm pretty sure it's Haiku and Jimbo because
I think it's Jimbo and Haku. Yes, it is. It is. It's Jimbo and Haku. They go over for this, which again, you know, as it is, it's just that's fine.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting a lot from this, but it was fine. I would say it's probably like a middle number. I would probably go like a 3-star match. I think it's kind of mid. There's not a lot really to it. Probably like a 2.5 realistically.
Especially considering the fact that I didn't get to see the whole match, so I'm gonna be fair and just give it 3 because I don't want to, you know, rant on a match I didn't see the whole thing of either. So,
Yep. Again, it's they're doing what they're doing. So a little bit of background. The reason why Haku is here is Jimbo's tag team partner, which is. This will just take 2 seconds. I had the name written down. Apparently, I forgot to completely save the file when I did it. Because, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit of a fucking moron.
that happens. I mean,
Yoshiaki Yatsu
okay.
was Jimbo's tag team partner, but got injured before the event, so instead, Haku had to take his place.
That's right. Yeah. I remember reading that before we came on here. So, yeah, that is interesting. You know that they were able to get Haku as quickly as they could and everything like that. So,
it's something with, you know, it's better than like not having a match at all. But it's just wow, like out of all people, we got King Haku.
yeah.
And not to say anything against the athlete himself because he's probably incredible. But like, goddamn, out of all the fucking wrestlers we could pick, we picked Haku.
Yeah, because he wasn't doing
Damn.
too much at this time. Yeah.
You want to go over the next one?
Yeah, so next match is Macho King Randy Savage with Queen Sensational Sherry versus Jin Ishiro, Tenroy.
Shinichiro, Tenryu.
Tenryu. I knew I was going to butcher that, so.
That's cool.
But, yeah, this was interesting because when I heard Macho Man Randy Savage come out, you know, it was interesting. He was King in the ring, so because WWE had 2 Kins going on at this time, and one of them was Macho King Randy Savage. Even though I'm pretty sure how that worked was he didn't win the tournament. I think he beat somebody to become Kin, so that's how that worked. So that's why I guess there was able to be 2 Kins at the time. But this is interesting because Tenroy was supposed to wrestle Hulk Hogan on this show. But I'm pretty Tenryu was supposed to wrestle Hulk Hogan on this show, but I'm pretty sure they couldn't come to terms of who was going to go over. There was like a bunch of reasons that we don't really know what the real reason was that that match didn't happen. So it's interesting that they pivoted to Macho King Randy Savage. And I actually really like this match. You know, it starts out very well. Macho King Randy Savage attacks him in the early points of the matchup, but Tenryu was able to fight him off and beat him up. He clotheslines him out of the ring. And then he destroys Savage throughout the beginning portion of this matchup. I'm pretty sure, like, there's a bit in this match where he just hits vicious chops in this match, and he hits them, like, rapidly, like, all in very quick succession. And the funny thing is Macho King Randy Savage is just able to come back and not laugh at this. Like, he really took a beating here. They do the heel stick where Queen Shamel interferes on Macho King Randy Savage's behalf. Where
Sherry's work tonight, might I add. My God, is she putting work in?
Yeah.
It's crazy how much she's able to just do. Now, to be fair, man, having to explain Japanese rules is funny as hell to somebody, because I watched this with a girlfriend before watching it with Jack last night. Just so that way I can make sure my notes were like properly done. And man, was she like, wait, why can the manager get involved? If there was DQ, I go, not in Japan. She goes, what? Yeah, there's not really a DQ situation in Japan.
Yeah.
Not really.
Plus, it's also referee's discretion too. At the same time, too. So,
It's really interesting though. It's like, wait, what?
yeah, but something I meant to ask, was there 20 count rules for this show, or
Yes.
was it okay? Because I mean,
The outside.
it really didn't matter anyways, because no one really stayed out to win that one on this show, really. So,
Oh well, no, there's one match that they go out for a long friggin' time.
yeah. But, Macho King Randy Savage really destroys Tin Ryu throughout this match. He body slams him onto the table. I believe the camera missed at one point. Shawn Michaels take a cheap shot because at one point he was over the guardrail and then he was like over into the crowd area type of thing.
Yep.
Macho King Randy Savage hits an axe handle smash. He nearly gets the win with the elbow drop, but Tim Ryu kicks out of it, which was cool. And then Tim Ryu beats Savage with the power bomb. I was actually pretty surprised about this, just because obviously the fact with all the egos involved, you would have thought Vince would have stepped in and be like, no, like Macho King Randy Savage is one of my guys, like he's one of my main event players, especially too because the next year, even though I think Vince had planned this out pretty well, that he was going to face Warrior at WrestleMania. Really shocked that Vince allowed this to happen. Allowed Tim Ryu to beat one of his guys, like a main event player. But, it happened. I really liked this match. I thought it was very good. I give it 3 3/4. I thought Tim Ryu was really over here. The crowd was really into him. And I thought their styles really enough meshed because obviously Macho King Randy Savage represents like the graceness of professional wrestling, and Tim Ryu represented that stiffness, and their styles I thought worked really well together.
I agree. I gave this a 4.
Oh, actually, I did give it a 4. It's on. I have it in my notes.
Did
Yeah.
It's such a good back and forth. Like, my God, did they put a lot of work in? Like, this match happened so quickly, and they're so brutal.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, I couldn't believe those styles meshed because again, Savage doesn't really wrestle like a hard style like this, really. So it's insane that.
No, but it's also nice to see him work heel.
Yeah.
And be able to do what a heel needs to do in a match. And having Sherry constantly go on the attack, like Tenryu would like go outside to take a breath, and all of a sudden she would like kick him in the back or punch him in the fucking head, just so that way he's like, no, you're not taking a breath.
Yeah.
We're not gonna take a minute. We're gonna stick on you until you are done. And it's very cool to see that manager wrestler dichotomy happen. It's very cool. It's very interesting.
I believe Sherry too gave Tim Ryu like a really stiff kick like at one point in this match type of thing.
Yeah, like probably like the mid to almost near end point.
Yeah.
I'm like, she's gonna like whoop his ass like real fast.
Yeah,
huh?
it was insane.
Awesome. Oh, it was so.
But
cool.
again, I guess a question I asked you too: were you shocked that Vince allowed Savage to go here and take a loss? Because that seems very unlike Vince in that occasion and everything like that.
I agree to some extent because of one. Again, during the course of the show, he's being the major mediator behind all this. Because like, listen, guys, I don't give a shit about your little rivalry about like whatever. I'm here to make money, and like now, like whatever your little feud is like affecting money for all of us. So we're gonna like not do that. So Vince, throughout the entire course of the show, is putting a lot of work in. It's a lot of work. So I would say it's probably a more of an Inoki call more than anything else. Like, you need to have my guy go over.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's like, okay. It's like, oh, okay. I guess we're gonna let Macho take the L. That's fine. Probably went to Savage, and Savage said, "Why not? The kid's younger than me. It makes the most sense. Like, where I'm putting, as long as I get to put on all my offense to get my shit in, I think that's all that matters."
And fair enough too. It's not like Savage was going to really hurt taking this loss anyways. He was going to be fine. So.
And again, it's in another country. Their guys can take the loss. It doesn't matter too much. So. But it was very cool. This was definitely take a look at the different styles, see what's going on. And this is what I would say is, if you want to know what you should do as a wrestler facing against somebody from another country, talk to them and figure it out. And this is what this seems like. It's like, we're going to talk about it and figure it out as we go.
Yeah, and they did, and it seems... Because I don't think Savage... well, I was about to say, I don't think... It's the opposite. Savage usually like to have his matches planned out pretty much ahead of time anyways and stuff, so it's interesting.
He wanted all of his stuff ready to go.
I wonder how they.
Because Savage liked to over prepare for every match that he was in.
I wonder how they did this with the language barrier and everything too, and everything like that. So.
I mean, from what I know, I don't think there was that crazy of a language barrier because a lot of the guys, it's like you can kind of say a move that works in English as well as like in like Japanese. Since a lot of them do have to learn how to speak different, how to say specific vocabulary in different ways. It's like a DDT is a DDT. There's no like Japanese version of a DDT. It's just DDT. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
The only difference is that suplexes are brain busters in Japan. I don't know why. Every suplex is a brain buster.
Yeah, because there was a point where there clearly wasn't a brain buster, but it was definitely more of a suplex. But yeah, you had to take their word for it.
Suplexes are brain busters in Japan. That's fine.
Interesting thing they showed during Savage and Tim Ryu's entrance. It showed like their heights and their ages and everything like that. And I say that because it's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Savage was only like, he wasn't even 40 yet when this match happened, which is just crazy to think about.
He's just also putting the work in. And my God, is like the fact that Vince goes, yeah, we want to get you off of TV and we want you on we don't want you in the ring. We want you on commentary. It's like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, no wonder why you went to WCW.
But you let Hogan wrestle? Are you kidding me?
He let a lot of people.
Hogan, who looks like somebody's dirty uncle.
He let a lot of people wrestle that shouldn't have. I mean, he let Goldberg and Undertaker go have that match in Saudi in 2019, I think.
One of the worst Taker matches of all time.
Probably
the worst Taker match of all time.
That might be a retro. I've never seen that match. Well, actually, no, I've seen that. I haven't seen that show. I've seen that match though. But so.
Owen, for your own sanity, don't, because you're gonna get mad.
So.
Not because of like the matches. It's the cultural difference.
Yeah.
Is the big thing. There's a big dirty cultural difference kind of happening. So it's one of those. If you can deal with it, deal with it. If you can't, don't worry about it. You're not the only one.
But yeah, then we have. I think you've been waiting to get to this match because your favorite wrestler is in the next match.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Ted DiBiase is great. I love Ted DiBiase. Yeah, it's like a major disappointment. I would say that Ultimate Warrior versus Ted DiBiase for the WWF title, which, by the way, dirty, disgusting white strap on the fucking WWF title. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, it was not great.
Why would you do that to that belt? Come on, dude. Yeah, what if it was just if it had a white strap? I thought it was the Intercontinental title. No joke, like 3 times. I'm like, why are they fighting for the guy? And then I'm like, no, it's for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. I had to keep rethinking that the entire time I saw the belt. Also, very cute that DiBiase decides to strip him of the belt before whooping his ass. I thought that was very funny.
And he hits him with the belt and the ribs and stuff too, which is good. So
it's very cool. Yeah, this match is a major disappointment. The match was like over way too quickly. There was like no actual story, no drama in the ring, nothing really happening. Warrior like dominated the entire match with like little to no resistance from DiBiase, making this like just a glorified squash. Like I don't even get the point. Like there's a lack of energy and excitement. Did you like the crowd sweetening?
No, I didn't love this. This was pretty much a house show match, if I ever seen one type of thing, where this is a match you probably would see at a house show. The only thing that really made this match for me was obviously the commentary had switched over to Vince McMahon and Jesse Ventura on the feed I was watching, and yeah, they were. I'm pretty sure Vince said a line in here that didn't really translate too well to today's standards and everything like that, but I forget exactly what it was. And then obviously they kept talking about the venue, and they kept at the end of the match, Jesse the Body Ventura and him were like making fun of the name of the arena, which was just really weird, but whatever.
Can you imagine going to a thing and be like, yeah, I can't wait to do some business with the Japanese lads, and then like 2 minutes later, be like, oh man, this arena sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ, Vince.
But
we're here to make money, you fucking idiot.
Well, I don't think Vince said it. I think Jesse said it actually. So,
Oh, well, he's from the no, I'm sure it's just whatever. It's the most like, wow, we're really trying to get heat here, huh? For Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah, but Yeah, this was Warriors, I think, first title defense, because obviously WrestleMania 6 had happened not long before this. It was just kind of a house show match. I give it like 2 stars. Yeah, Warrior wins.
You're nicer than me.
You could definitely see...
You're way nicer than me.
but I'll say my thing, and you could say yours. But yeah,
No, just that's all I'm saying is that you're way nicer than me when it came to that.
but you could definitely see this is about the company about to take a dark approach, because nobody here was really into Warrior. They really didn't care much for him. I think because obviously it's not a character that the Japan fans like, and they thought, you know, he was kind of ripping off Legion of Doom / the World Warriors and everything like that. And yeah, this is just not a good sign, because obviously the Warrior experiment was going to fail, and his first match he has as champion. It was
technically he's not champion. Let's get that correct. The actual champion is Ted DiBiase.
That's fair.
He is. He's technically the world heavyweight champion at this time, but then they did the whole title nonsense. But he's still technically world heavyweight champion.
Yep. Just gotta give me 2 seconds. Gotta plug my laptop in.
Big laptop time.
All right, we're good. But yeah, this was this was 2 stars. It also just kind of felt like no one really put the working boots on. Like, it didn't really feel like DiBiase really gave that. And they also gave a weird reason why Virgil wasn't inside, saying that, like, the committee, like, didn't allow it. And then, like, Jesse Ventura was putting down, like, the committee after that, too. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like,
Let me tell you something, McMahon, about the committee. The committee doesn't know anything. We're in Japan. What committee? There's no U.S. Athletics Committee here, you idiot.
I don't know.
So,
yeah.
I have to talk about the crowd sweetening that's on this match.
Yeah.
Because, my God, I don't know where they grabbed these. This is the fakest crowd sound I've ever... Like, you can tell very clearly this is not the crowd making these noises. And I'm like, Vince was doing this practice even back in the 90s? Are you shitting me?
Which is insane. Yeah, and I've heard some of the fake Roman Reigns crowd when he was at the height of his... People hated him, and this was really fake, because there's points where the crowd's making noise and they're just sitting there. You can just see that they're not making noise, so they're just sitting there. So,
oh, did you like the American audience cuts?
I thought that was very odd.
I thought so too, which means those are crowd plants.
I think they were.
They are definitely crowd plants.
So I'm pretty sure.
The minute we watched it on the show last night, I'm like, oh my God, look at those crowd plants. And all the Japanese guys are like, yeah, America, let's go. It's like, get the fuck out.
Because there was a bit where DiBiase was like looking over into the crowd, and then we saw like that, and I'm like, is there something? What's going on there, and all that type of stuff? That was so weird. Like,
it was really weird. It was so strange. I gave this 1 star. I don't feel bad. I had to.
Yeah.
I watched this and I went, dude, it's the Cena thing again, where it's like 5 moves and then we're done. It's like, oh my God.
And this is
bounce off the ropes, do this, and then it's like, oh my fucking God.
This is pre-Cena. This is
It is.
This is pre-Cena too. It's so.
But that means that he's been trying to make a Hulk Hogan while Hulk Hogan's still in the fucking company.
Yeah. Well,
he tried to make another Hulk Hogan while Hulk was in the company, because Hulk only does 5 moves.
Yeah.
And one of them is the friggin' ear cuff.
Yep. Yeah, that's why That's not Savage. That's why Warrior didn't work as champion, so they pivoted afterwards. So.
Also, that might be Warrior's like second best matches with Hogan, but that's saying a lot.
Which is kind of weird because you don't like both of those guys. So.
Yeah, but like, it's technically his second best match because Macho pulled it out of him. To be honest, he pulled those matches out of his body.
That's true.
But man, I was not impressed.
Well, the Savage actually, the Warrior Rude match at SummerSlam, 88 is it 88 or 89? Because it would be.
It's 89.
Yeah, the match they had for the IC title was also a good one.
Agreed. I have one note for the match. I did not know that we could easily deflect a shoulder tackle just by pushing the guy into the floor.
I did like that.
New.
That's
That was awesome. The minute he did it, I went, that Ted DiBiase is officially the smartest man. Why didn't anyone do that every single time? Cena would do it in the ring. Come on, bro. We have the ultimate counter, and DiBiase came up with it.
I love too that Vince and Ventura were upset. Ventura was pissed on commentary that after that, Ted DiBiase didn't go for the $1 Million Dream after that. Like, he was so mad after that. Like,
Oh, yeah. Which is funny because he really probably should have. And I think if they gave it to Warrior and then had DiBiase take it, oh my god, dude, that would have been incredible.
yeah.
Because DiBiase being champion would be great. But hey, what are you gonna do? Time's a bitch sometimes. We
Yeah.
don't get what we want in wrestling. That being said, the next thing that's up on this card is a fun match. Am I the only one that thought it was fun?
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
So we got the Colossal Connection, which is Andre the Giant and Giant Baba, taking on Demolition, which is Axe and Smash. I gave this like a 2.5 star, and I'm going to say my review now because a lot of it's going to make a lot of sense. This match is just fun. There's not a lot of in-ring stuff that's kind of happening. They do the big gang-up spots. Baba's just there to have a good time, clearly, so is Andre. They're doing their back and forths. Like, it's clear that this is just a, hey, the Japanese crowd loves Giant Baba. Also, Giant Baba has an anime. I thought I would mention that now because I've seen the whole thing, and it's pretty funny.
I think you've told me that before, actually. So
It's pretty goddamn funny. So, yeah, big review on the Giant Baba anime coming soon.
all right, you have to send me You have to send me where you found that.
I got the website, don't worry.
Oh,
you should definitely watch.
It's a Crunchyroll.
It's funny. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think it's on Crunchyroll, but I'll find it for you. I'll send you the link like right after we're done with this. Yeah, Axe and Smash do a couple things here and there, but it's mostly just Andre and Baba like dominating, and then it kind of just ends with, I believe, just an elbow drop and then pin, and then that's it.
Yeah, I thought this was fun. You know, I liked the tag team cohesion with Demolition, where like they would just put him, like when they had Andre down, they just kind of tagged in and out to try to keep him down. It didn't work ultimately, but I liked, you know, they had to basically work to the limitations because obviously Andre, is it the last time Andre wrestles in Japan? Because I'm pretty sure, you know.
I think it might be, but I'm not. I don't quote me on it.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
Because I was thinking that
There
watching.
might be one more.
Because I'm pretty sure Andre's on the way out, like wrestling wise.
I mean, we were watching it. Yeah, we were watching it. Like this is the last we're gonna really see him wrestle properly in the ring.
Yeah.
Without having to hold on to the ropes the entire like match.
He kind of had to. He had to a lot here in this match though too. So.
I mean, he was in a tag team match. He kind of has to hold the ropes.
But yeah, I liked this. I thought this was a title match originally, but then but it wasn't. But that kind of makes sense that it wasn't, obviously, because obviously I don't know how the hell you get the belts off Andre and Giant Baba if they win the belts. I don't think I feel like
Especially if it's Demolition, Smash, and Axe. Like, what are they gonna do against this team?
Yeah, but yeah, I like this. You know, I always like Demolition. Obviously, Demolition is kind of a tag team that got, you know, done dirty because obviously once WWE got their hands on Legion of Doom, because Demolition was pretty much Legion of Doom that WWE couldn't get. And then, yeah, I enjoyed this. Very quick, you know, and, you know, it was just fun, you know. Just as Big E would say, it's big men slapping meat. That's kind of what you got here, type of thing. So
yeah, that's all it was, and that's how it should have been. Honestly, it's not too bad.
and you know
I wouldn't sit there and tell someone you need to watch this, but it's whatever.
And the crowd,
you know, it's fine.
the crowd liked this match too. You know, they were into it. You know, so if the crowd's making some type of reaction, if they're liking it, then I'm not gonna hop on it too much.
Of course. We're at the main event already.
This might be one of the fastest retros we've ever done, type of thing. So,
Yeah, wow. Ooh. Hulk Hogan's star power is undeniable. I don't think anyone will disagree that he is one of the most important figureheads in professional wrestling, correct?
He might be the most important figurehead in professional wrestling. So
I would say one of,
yeah,
but I have no problem admitting maybe the. Fuck me, this is not the match to showcase that.
it was. I remember you always told me. I think it was you or John that Hogan was always really good in Japan. So I was actually pretty excited about this because he's in Japan here. So was
Yeah.
I?
Wow. Did apparently Stan and Hogan had some unresolved issues apparently, because they're lighting each other up in this match.
Well, obviously there's some Did you know Stan Hansen wasn't even the original opponent he was supposed to have here?
Yes, it was supposed to be Terry Gordy.
Yeah,
Who was Stan Hansen's tag team partner at the time.
and then Hogan lost the belt, and Terry Gordy didn't want to lose to someone that had just lost a big match, so Stan Hansen stepped up pretty much instead. So
Can you imagine going up to Vince McMahon and going, "I don't want to face your guy. Why? Because he just lost, and I think he sucks." It's like, wow, wow, you just said that. Damn, dude.
I don't think he went
You
out.
know, you know why I don't want to wrestle against Hogan? Why? Because he's a piece of trash. That's what he is.
I don't think he went up to Vince directly, but I like to think that he went up to Vince directly based off your story. I'm just gonna go with it. So.
Hey Vince, you want to know why I won't wrestle Hulk Hogan? Oh, what is that? Terry Gordy, because he's a piece of trash. He sucks. This is okay. Stan Hansen is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He is forever on my list of boys that will ever exist, at least in my heart. He is. If we go over some quick history here, Stan is one of the major reasons why Bruno Sammartino's title did not stay on him even longer.
Yep.
Because if you know, Stan broke his goddamn neck.
Yes, he did.
Stan hit him with a motherfucker of a lariat and broke his neck.
I'm pretty sure that didn't get him fired, but that got him out of. That's why he had to go to Japan for as long as he did.
He got kicked out of the U. He couldn't work in the U.S. ever again.
Yeah.
There's not many men that can say that they put the fear into Paul Heyman, but Stan Hansen did. Because Stan broke the neck of Bruno Sammartino.
Not long before this, by the way, Stan Hansen had just broken Vader's not orbital bone, but his eye socket too.
Yep.
So
Brutal.
brutal. I was kind of worried about. Well, at least I was. I know you probably weren't, but I was worried. Ooh, how is this match gonna work? Because obviously Stan Hansen's very stiff, and I was surprised this match went ahead because obviously Hogan. I wonder if it was one of those events Vince was really was ready to move on without Hogan. If Hogan, because I don't think Vince would have had this match happen a couple years ago. If Hogan was still the golden goose and everything like that. There's just no way. Because it's just insane that this match happened with how stiff Stan is, and if he injured Hogan here. I know Hogan was going to be off TV a lot in '90 anyways, but it just interesting how much of a hole that would have left in the wrestling bubble with if Stan Hansen had injured Hogan here. And I thought I wasn't sure how this was going to play out.
I'll be honest, knowing Stan, he wasn't going to do too much to the guy because, again, he's WWF's golden goose. He knows what happened last time. But again, both men put on their working boots to some extent. This is not the best Hogan match. This is not the best Stan Hansen match by a mile. But they're trying to do stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a very clear thing that Stan's like, I am not selling every one of your ridiculous, stupid moves.
Yeah, he
I'm not selling the face scratching. Which again, thing I noted as well. Hogan, face of the company, wrestles like a heel.
Oh, he does, yeah.
All the time. Why?
I'm not sure,
It's weird, isn't it? Like, it's weird.
I
He
know-
wrestles as a heel even when he's a face.
I know Austin did that, but also Austin's character wasn't specifically a babyface. He was a dirtier wrestler and everything like that. Hogan's still that he's
Well,
supposed to.
he was a tweener.
Yeah,
He wrestled as a heel, but he acted like a face.
yeah,
You know, that's just how Austin's character is.
but that wasn't
With
how.
Hogan,
Yeah,
all he did was bitch and complain that he didn't get belts. It's like, oh, you see, I didn't lose that, brother. The wind got in my eyes.
really.
Kidding me? Yeah, immediately these two, like, I thought I was watching a Triple H match because immediately we go to the outside.
Yeah,
They go to the outside, they start brawling in the crowd, they start like making their way to the announcer tables. They're like having their big back and forth, throwing each other around, slamming each other in the turnbuckle posts, punching each other, busting each other open. Like, a lot's happening, and then Stan had something on his chest because he hits Hogan with the dirtiest, nastiest chair shot to the head I've seen.
absolutely.
In quite a lot. He blasts in the face.
And this wasn't like a steel chair like you typically see in wrestling. This was like one of those hard chairs that, like a stool type of chair almost, and everything like that. Like, it was.
Dude, he nails him in the head.
Yeah, it was
And
insane.
he goes down. I'm like, holy shit. I thought he killed him.
I did too.
I'm like, my God, he just killed Hulk Hogan. Holy shit, Stan, chill.
If you were that worried, imagine how worried Vince was if he was watching this show.
Oh, I mean, you know, he was gonna be fine, but it's still a goddamn.
Yeah.
We did not need to murder the man that quickly in the ring. No, but all in all, I think the match is fine, but I will say it's boring.
Yeah, it's a little boring.
It's very boring. Like, not a lot really happens. Stan's doing some stuff. Hogan's doing some stuff. They're having their big back and forth. But, like, near the end of the match, it's just a big, dirty Hogan highlight reel.
It really is.
That's all it is. And it ends with Hogan not doing the leg drop. It ends with Hogan doing Stan's lariat.
Yep.
Which I'm like, this isn't the match for doing this. Come on, man.
It was really weird.
It was really weird.
It felt like the finish was rushed too, because I looked at the time at the end of the match and everything like that, and it was like a good couple minutes. But obviously too, there really wasn't, because Hogan obviously has to do his poses at the end. So like there was like a good 2 minutes.
His 80 billion fucking poses. My God, dude. I'm like, please make it end. Will say, did you notice when watching it, the crowd, there was a little bit of sweetening in there?
Oh yeah.
Because when Hogan comes out, big pop, right? When Stan comes out, not that much of a pop. You can see people in the crowd standing up.
It's also really weird because the commentary for this match, I didn't even mention, that we got was Sean Moody and Lord Alfred Hayes, and the big story they talk about.
The worst.
Yeah, because they're not commentators, so I can't. They're not. So I can't. They're putting. They'll be. I don't know why they didn't just have Vince and Jesse do this one, but yeah, this the commentary team.
I don't know.
I think
They could not give two damns.
I think Lord Alfred Hayes repeatedly kept talking about. He kept saying the same thing like 20 times in a row. That's how bad it was, type of thing.
It's just bad. Like, again, I have Stan Hansen matches ready to go whenever you want to go through actual Stan Hansen matches. This is not one of them.
Yeah.
All in all, I will say that the two best matches of the night. Oh, also, this is a 2-star match. It goes like 9 minutes and 30 seconds. It's not worth the watch. However, if you do want to watch the pay-per-view, please go right ahead. It's an interesting piece of history that's kind of forgotten. And I'm going to give you the link to put in the description so that way people can find the video that we were watching, so that way they can watch it themselves. Since there's no legal way to actually watch this, sadly. To watch the full pay-per-view.
Right.
No way. It's really weird.
I mean, still, there still technically isn't. We didn't even get a match on this. We didn't even get one of the matches on this show.
Yeah.
To kind of give you my quick thoughts on the match, the main event, I thought the main event was all right. I agree with you. Definitely a 2-star match. The worst part about it was I thought the finish was very rushed. I guess at least they protected Stan in defeat because obviously he kicked out like right after 3, so at least he didn't stay down completely. But it was but the finish was still just kind of a mess. But at least Stan didn't look completely weak losing to Hogan, I guess.
Oh, great! But it's like it's so much nothing. And
Yeah,
that's the problem. Like nothing happens. It's Hogan does some spots, Stan does some spots, Hogan does some spots, Stan does some spots. Big brawl to the outside, big brawl to the outside. It's like, guys. People are paying money.
yes, they are.
Like, come on, give them their money. It's like, no, we can't do that. We have to rip them off.
I don't know if
if it was me, I probably would have like halfway through the show asked for my money back.
Yeah, I don't know if it's one of those things. I don't know if it's one of those things too. Hogan didn't really want to do anything because he's about to take a bunch of time off after this pay-per-view. I think because obviously after this. He gets written off by Earthquake when he destroys him, and I think Hogan goes and does some movie things, so maybe Hogan just didn't want to...
He does a couple TV shows, he does some movies, like, he does stuff.
Yeah, so maybe Hogan... Maybe Hogan didn't want to risk injury and didn't want to do too much, so that way those commitments and stuff didn't get, like, halted or whatever, but... Yeah, that's...
True, but it's just, it sucked.
Yeah.
This was the worst part of a wrestling match is when it's boring. And it's clear that the reason why it's boring isn't because of the competitors. There's just something that's booked that they're both not interested in.
Yeah, definitely.
Because even Hogan's like, yeah, he's like doing his big punches and kicks and scratches and shit. And Stan's just like, can you like calm the fuck down for a second,
yeah,
dude?
really.
I have some final thoughts here.
Okay.
So, Wrestling Summit 1999 has its highs and lows. I think that we can agree on that. 1990 has some very good highs, but some very, very terrible lows. It features some excellent matches, especially with like Jake and Big Boss Man and Tenryu versus Savage. Those are like two of the best matches on the card. And some like really forgettable bouts, being like Stan taking on Hogan and Ultimate Warrior taking on DiBiase, and some awful matches with Brett taking on Tiger Mask, and of course, the worst match of the night by a mile, the Great Kabuki taking on Greg the Hammer. This show is, I would say, if you want to watch it, find it. But man, was this not worth? If I was a tickets like spender, I would be like, I want my money back.
I totally would have been too.
I would. It's not the fault of what's going on. There's just a lot of political stuff happening. All three companies are going to be at a really bad rut till about 1995. Realistically.
Yeah, probably. WWF even longer because they don't really get out of their run until like 97, I would say.
I would say, well, by 95 is when the Attitude Era really does begin, you know?
Oh, it's a pretty rough time in 95, though. You have... oh,
yeah.
I make the argument that it probably begins, but they're not out of the rut, if that makes sense.
No, not yet. Again, it's the beginning of them being, like, again, a lot of companies at the time are doing, like, tons of work when it comes to, like, 1985. Like, WCW's getting, like, their big push in 95. WWF's getting their big push in 95. So, again, I'm looking at it from the perspective, like, realistically, this is when stuff really starts and really begins in their own way. A lot of people ask the question, like, when's the moment the Attitude Era begins? And I say it's the moment Austin talks trash about Jake the Snake is when the Attitude Era really begins, at least for me.
Yeah, that's 90. That's 96.
Yeah, it's like a year later.
Yeah.
But historically, if we really go from like the moment like where it starts getting interesting, in my mind, it really does begin properly in 95.
That's fair.
But that's neither here nor there. Financially, however, the event was a success. It pulled in a gate of like a solid gate of 387 million yen, which is about $2.6 million, with a net gain of 237 to like 337 million yen, so between like 1.65 to 2.34 million dollars. Despite some overwhelming moments, the overall commercial success solidified its place in wrestling history. But man, if this is what was given to modern audiences, oh, people would be pissed.
Very much so. Especially,
Very like, oh, it would be a very bad day to be a professional wrestler.
especially, with all the competition and stuff that's out there nowadays and everything like that too.
Oh, especially. Oh yeah, especially now. But yeah, all in all, what'd you think of the show?
It's definitely an historic event. I enjoyed watching it for what it was. I would probably give it maybe. I'm gonna give it like a C minus because I enjoyed Savage versus Tenryu. I enjoyed Bossman versus Jake the Snake. Juice and Thunder Liger versus Akira, I thought was a good match that I got to see. But there are some low moments, like obviously the Bret Tiger Mask match is very disappointing. And I also like the tag match with Andre the Giant and Giant Baba versus Demolition. But obviously the main event's a little bit of nothing. I would probably say I would like the tag match with Kurt Hennig and stuff, but I didn't get to see the whole thing, so I'm not going to judge that. But yeah, Greg Valentine versus the Great Kabuki. Very disappointing. And there's just stuff here that I think could have been done a lot better. Like obviously, politics kind of got in the way for this show. Not just being a sex in this moment, but obviously from being able to do shows together in the future. And obviously, you would expect a little bit of a bigger feeling from the show and everything like that. So I'm going to go C minus.
I agree fully. I think this is a C minus show. It's not, I wouldn't call it, again, it's not a financial failure. Companies made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Japan's in a really rough place at the time when it comes to like the political side of things, and economically they're having like a really tough time as well. But all in all, as a show, I think that this does a job, but doesn't do it successfully.
This kind of This kind of sucks too because WWF could have been partnering with New Japan. Because obviously, as you know, WCW would be the company that ends up doing that and benefited from that largely really well. So,
yeah, I would say largely. I wouldn't say really well though. Like they benefited from it, but not very well.
Yeah.
Because they really, again, they got some Japanese wrestlers to show up, which was cool as hell. But man, that was about it.
Yeah.
It's a real friggin' shame that there was not as much pull in this as there should have been. It's kind of all over the place. But yeah, that's welcome to the Pro Wrestling Summit. It's a weird one. Some may call it the top of the mountain. I call it the creek near the side of the lake. It's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Not a lot really happens on this show. And as a big showcase, it's kind of whatever. There are a couple things I have here, which are questions for you, but I'm going to save them if you're all finished with your points.
No, I definitely, I think I've said all my points. I'm ready for the questions.
Okay. Number one, how did you feel about a lot of the Japanese talent that you get to see? Not a lot of, like, main faces, but Junichiro Tenryu is going to be a big one in Japanese wrestling. He's going to be actually pretty huge.
Yeah,
stuff that he gets to do.
Junichiro Tenryu, I really enjoyed. I love how intense he was. Obviously, even though it's early days, I like Juice and Thunder Liger, even though I've seen him before. Seeing Tiger Mask too, because obviously I know the guy that plays him becomes a big name, so it's kind of cool to see where he started and everything like that. Giant Baba I enjoyed, even though this is him in the later stage of his career. I enjoyed him because obviously after this it was kind of his last hurrah. I'm also making sure, and then obviously Kenta Kobashi. I had always heard you and other people have mentioned him and everything like that. Obviously, it kind of sucks I didn't really get to see him showcased. I think what you guys have said, but it was still kind of nice that I got to see him because from what I saw, he looked so. If I had to say the one that really stood out to me, it was probably Tenryu, because I feel like, but that I think that's more so on the booking because I feel like he was just allowed to do the most out of anyone. I mean, Stan Hansen I had seen before too, but obviously I feel like this wasn't the best showcase of Stan Hansen, like we've talked about.
Oh yeah, and again, it's a different time period. By around, I would say like '95 is when Japanese wrestling really starts like figuring itself out.
Yeah.
But again, just like the Fed, it's like they're still figuring shit out. So, here's the next one. Are there any wrestlers from this show that you want to see continue their career forward?
Stan Hansen, because obviously I feel like there's more that I could see out of him. Kenta Kobashi, since I'm seeing him in his rookie years here, I want to see his other Japanese careers. I'd say Jushin Thunder Liger, but I feel like I saw a lot of his run like in WCW, and then I watched some of his retirement tour, so I feel like I could see more of Jushin Thunder Liger, but I don't feel like someone else I want to see. Is Akira, because Akira was very good in the match with Jushin Thunder Liger, even though, like you said, it was only used to get Jushin Thunder Liger over. It seems like they put Akira in that spot because they trusted him, so I would like to see if there's anything more to him and all that type of stuff.
Oh, of course. I'm glad that you enjoyed the show, though. That's like the most important thing. And the last one here. If you had to pick out of all these matches that you get to see tonight, who would you have preferred to see as a replacement on the card, given what the rosters were at the time?
So, like, is this someone that wasn't on the show at all, or?
I would say it would be one of the matches that is on the show that's completely cut from the show. Probably would have been a lot better than, like, if I had to make my choice, the Great Kabuki and Greg the Hammer match would be gone, and it would be replaced with the IWGP Tag Team Championship match instead.
I would also like to have seen the whole Kurt Hennig and Rick Martel versus Ken Haku and Jumbo match, because it seems like that match was like starting to hit its peak when, like, from the point where I started watching it. Like, I would have liked to seen the whole match type of thing.
Agreed.
And obviously I would have I understand they wanted to have Warrior on the show because he was the champion and everything like that, but I probably could have done without $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Ultimate Warrior, because that's probably a match they probably did all the time on the house shows and everything like that. So you just pretty much got it on this show.
I'm glad. Yeah, cool.
I would have liked to seen the original plan with Hogan and Tenryu, because obviously that was the match they wanted, but then obviously
Hogan and Terry Gordy.
Well, when I was watching Cultaholic's video, that was the match. Hogan and Terry Gordy replaced Hogan and Tenryu, because Hogan and Tenryu, they had wanted to have that match originally, but there was so many reasons why that match didn't happen. We don't even know what the reason like truly was. They never really like said.
Weird.
So
Really weird. Okay.
But I would have liked to have
makes sense. That's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like because Hogan had just lost the belt, so like that was one reason. Both promoters couldn't agree like who was gonna go over, and both wrestlers couldn't agree who was gonna go over. Like, it was just so many reasons like why that match didn't happen, type of thing. So
Yep. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed the show, though. Other than that, is there anything you want to add, or do you want to skedoodle on out of here and I can actually show you a really solid Stan Hansen match?
Yeah, I got nothing left to say. I enjoyed this show. I was surprised again, how much wrestlers I recognize on the show, because obviously, usually when we get crossover events, sometimes it's not the whole roster that crosses over. And again, I was also just surprised to see that we had two WWF guys face off each other on this show, and then they never did anything with it, like, afterwards. It was just insane.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really, really weird.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Is there anything you want to plug or promote before we get out of here?
Oh, yes. So I'm a part of a podcast called The Brit and the Git. You can listen to us on Spotify. We haven't done an episode in a little bit, only because we've had a lot of stuff kind of go on for the past few months. You can follow me on Twitch at Michael_Exploration. That's XPLORATION. And yeah, you can follow my buddy Jack at Firelord Kuzon, also known as Sad Boy Kuzon. Firelord Kuzon at twitch.tv. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it.
And at the end, after we get off of here, if you want to just send me all those links and I'll put them in my comments and the description box, I will get those in there. Obviously, for my stuff, you can check out the Yo on the Talkinator channel. My cousin and I just finally did season 10 of Red versus Blue. We did all 10 seasons. You know, well, we didn't do it all in one video. We did it, you know.
No, I know, but like, just Jesus.
Well, doing the whole season, we didn't really realize how long that was going to take. We did like season 10 in like 2 days. I think we did that. Like we recorded it in 2 days and all that stuff. Yeah, it's and then obviously we're gonna finish season 2 of Yellow Jackets, and then we're gonna do a video comparing and contrasting both shows. Since weirdly enough, well, not both shows, but just seasons 9 and 10 of OVB and Yellow Jackets, since they both have a past and a present storyline. So we want to compare and contrast. And weirdly enough, somehow, some way, those shows end up kind of having a lot to do with each other, type of thing. And then obviously you can check out this channel. Chris and I will be recording WWE Aftershock. And then we're going to do more retros. We're going to get the WrestleMania ones doing. And obviously Mike and I, you know, Mike always has the opportunity to pick a retro when he wants. And we will be doing just that. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. And since this is being recorded in the past, we will talk to you guys in the future.